Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Chiefs-Cowboys trade proposal secures critical position. With general manager Brett Veach calling the shots, the Kansas City Chiefs are always a candidate to move up in the NFL draft if there's a player they really want. In 2023, Veach traded up to land wide receiver Rashee Rice, offensive tackle Wanya Morris, and safety Shamari Connor. He also jumped at the opportunity to acquire cornerback Trent McDuffie in round 1 the offseason before, along with offensive lineman Darian Kinnard, a minor fifth-round trade-up, later on. 2024 could be no different if ESPN writer Bill Barnwell is correct. On April 18, Barnwell suggested the Chiefs and Dallas Cowboys as potential trade suitors over the back half of round 1. The hypothetical deal? Ironically, one of these selections belonged to Dallas in the first place, pick number 159, but the basic theory from Barnwell is that the cap-strapped Cowboys would prefer more opportunities to fill roster holes with affordable talent, rather than a top 25 selection. As for the Chiefs, there's a specific position that Barnwell believes this trade would target. The defending champs moved up from number 29 to number 22 2 years ago, when they sent 2 picks to the New England Patriots and landed cornerback Trent McDuffie, he noted. The Chiefs were flush with selections then by virtue of the Tyreek Hill trade, which isn't the case any longer. This Cowboys deal would be a move up to address a critical position, left tackle, where Donovan Smith is a free agent and Wanya Morris didn't impress as a rookie, Barnwell reasoned. Jumping the Green Bay, Packers and Baltimore Ravens makes sense if there's somebody Kansas City trusts to protect Patrick Mahomes' blind side. As Barnwell alluded, the downside of this exchange is that Kansas City is left with just 4 remaining picks in 2024. And whether they use the number 24 selection on a new left tackle, a wide receiver or another position entirely, that doesn't give Veach too many opportunities to retool this roster. Granted, the Chiefs' depth chart has fewer needs than the average team. Outside of OT and WR, one could argue there is room for improvement at cornerback, behind McDuffie, defensive tackle, behind Chris Jones, edge rusher, backup guard and backup running back, but these aren't substantial issues. Meaning, if there's a prospect Veach loves that's on the board at number 24, he likely wouldn't hesitate to make this move. After all, according to the 2024 NFL trade value chart, Dallas would actually be sacrificing value in this deal. Their pick is worth 740 points, per the Jimmy Johnson draft valuation model, while KC's collection of draft capital is worth 737.8 points. A fair deal for both sides, but not an overpay by any means. It's hard to say who might be available at the Cowboys' spot in the order, but this is a strong offensive tackle class in round 1, so there should be a few options at number 24. According to draft experts Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Network, and Mel Kiper Jr., ESPN, Notre Dame's Joe Alt is likely to be the top OT off the board in 2024, so it's pretty safe to say he won't be there for KC in this trade-up scenario. Neither would Oregon State's Taylis Fuaga, Jeremiah's number 2 tackle prospect, Washington's Troy Fautanu, a consensus top guard/tackle hybrid, Penn State's Oluwaseyi Fashanu, a projected top 3 pass protector, or Alabama's J.C. Latham, a 6'6" mountain, in all likelihood. Instead, this trade would probably target the next tier of O tackles after the premier group. And the 2 top candidates in this second group include Oklahoma's Tyler Guyton and Georgia's Amarius Mims. On Wanya Morris' former teammate, Guyton, Kiper wrote that physically, Guyton is exactly what NFL teams want in a future Pro Bowl caliber right tackle. He's a tall 6'7" with a long and rangy figure according to Jeremiah. The concern is that he's a bit raw and inconsistent, especially in a trade-up scenario. Jeremiah called Guyton a work in progress that has elite traits and tools, while Kiper reiterated that he's not yet a finished product. Guyton also started at right tackle in college, not the blind side. Mims is another natural right tackle that matches the Oklahoma product in height at 6'7", and he's just as risky of a prospect. Mims has very limited starting experience, 8 total starts in 3 years at Georgia, partially due to injury, Jeremiah scouted. Adding, while the resume is light, the skill set is impressive. Both of these draft scenarios could involve veteran Jawan Taylor moving to left tackle full-time. Navigating the Cowboys' future, balancing frugality, player retention, and draft priorities. The Dallas Cowboys are taking a cautious approach in free agency this year, in stark contrast to their rival, the Philadelphia Eagles, who have been splurging on big contracts for key players like Saquon Barkley and Bryce Hall. While the Eagles are making major moves, the Cowboys have been relatively quiet, with their largest contracts totaling just $6 million for re-signing cornerback Jordan Lewis and adding linebacker Eric Kendricks. Amidst this frugality, concerns are rising among Cowboys fans about the future of key players like quarterback Dak Prescott, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, and pass rusher Micah Parsons. Prescott, entering the final year of his contract, is yet to secure a new extension, while negotiations with Lamb and Parsons for contract extension seem to be at a standstill. However, according to Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones, this conservative spending strategy is a deliberate move to ensure the team can retain their star players in the long term. Jones emphasized the importance of balancing the salary cap to accommodate future contract extensions for players like Prescott, Parsons, and Lamb, who are integral to the team's success. The Cowboys face significant roster challenges following the departure of key players like Tyron Smith, Tyler Biadasz, Tony Pollard, and Dorrance Armstrong. Despite these gaps, the Jones family remains committed to retaining their core talent and investing in the team's future success. Looking ahead, the Cowboys are prioritizing the upcoming NFL draft as an opportunity to address their needs, particularly focusing on bolstering the offensive line to support their star quarterback and offensive weapons. With key decisions looming on the horizon, the Cowboys are navigating a delicate balance between short-term needs and long-term stability. Proposed trade sees Cowboys flip Dak Prescott for 18 TD Pro Bowl QB. The Dallas Cowboys could pull off the unexpected when it relates to Dak Prescott. Prescott is entering the final year of his contract without an extension in place. With that in mind, a proposed trade would see the Cowboys flip Prescott to the Las Vegas Raiders in exchange for 4 draft picks and quarterback Gardner Minshew. The proposed trade has been brought up by FS1's Craig Carton with an unverifiable rumor. Via Mike Fisher of Athlon Sports, "There's smoke in the air out of Dallas," says Carton. There are starting to be rumors down there on Dallas Sports Talk Radio that Dak Prescott is going to be traded. And the storyline, and I want to be clear, it's unconfirmed, there are talks that the Dallas Cowboys and the Las Vegas Raiders have had some conversations in which the Raiders would send 4 picks and maybe Gardner Minshew to Dallas to get the expiring contract of Dak Prescott. This scenario would obviously see the Cowboys trade Prescott and get something in return before he potentially leaves in free agency next offseason. In exchange, they would acquire Minshew, who is actually coming off a Pro Bowl year as the starter for the Indianapolis Colts. Minshew threw for 15 touchdowns and ran for 3 touchdowns against 9 interceptions while posting a 7-6 record as starter. The 27-year-old quarterback came within a win of leading the Colts to the playoffs. While Carton doesn't mention the exact draft picks involved, it's safe to assume at least one of them would be a high enough draft pick to select a potential franchise quarterback. In this scenario, the Cowboys would acquire a veteran placeholder at quarterback capable of starting for the short term while also adding a future franchise quarterback in the process. The move would send shockwaves through the NFL for obvious reasons. But it's not unfathomable to believe the Cowboys are capable of trading Prescott, even after he finished second in MVP voting last season. The 30-year-old Prescott has started for 8 seasons in Dallas, but the Cowboys have never advanced past the divisional round of the playoffs under his lead. His next contract will again pay him big money, as his projected value is $50.8 million across 4 years for a total of more than $203 million, according to Spotrac. Dallas could then shift into a new era where they would pay their rookie franchise quarterback significantly less money. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation of Dak Prescott? Leave your opinion in the comments.